One blank game week done, and our focus shifts. We're nearly just about to game week 35, albeit one match to go. Who's been splashing points when it comes to free hits, or who's been dreading the bits and plummeting even further down the ranks? But as per usual, the Addicts crew are back for yet again another edition, this time for the Game Week 35 edition of the FPL Addicts podcast. Yeehaw! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wherever you may be tuning around the planet, good evening, good afternoon if you're in the same country as we are, or even good evening somewhere in between. Hey, safe to say, the sun's out, but what about the guns out when it comes to our FPL players shows? And you'll find out very shortly, but no, without further ado, we've got to introduce our usual crew. One who decides to turn up every week and may have taken 5 minutes to put a wig on, and the guy who is renowned to be your best mate for the upcoming Fantasy Premier League season. It being Reidy and Dan. Firstly, Reidy, good afternoon to you. Nice to see you again.
Afternoon, Chaza, on this fine Thursday afternoon. And good to see you, mate. Good to see you that you've presented yourself well, as always, with the mullet, or bedhead, as we'd call it in the UK, mate. But yeah, I'm doing well. Good to be back.
Yeah, Ripper. Good afternoon to you as well, Dan. Very busy on the videos, especially quick turnaround into the game week. Thank you so much, as always, for coming back on.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's been a year. I kind of look back my last couple of appearances. It seems like I come sometime between game week 33 and 35 every season on the show, but it's good to be back. The weather is beautiful. It's put me in a fantastic mood, which is good because the season for me has not been great. I can't lie. So we need a bit of positivity in here, and the sun's certainly bringing some of that.
Well, we hope as a collective, Reidy and I bring some sort of positivity, but it's just Reidy laughing at me for the entire episode. So that's as close as we get to. Dan, we're talking about the season. How have you found it? The new additions, a lot to try and digest.
Yeah, it's been an interesting season. I know, like, obviously the big headline is about the new chip being introduced, and obviously that's caused some changes in the way you might play FPL. But I think the biggest change for this season really has been the way that the changes of the FA Cup format have had a knock-on effect on double and blank game weeks to an extent where it's been really, really unpredictable this season. You know, a lot of people thinking, oh, are we going to get double game week 36, for example, blank game week 37? Looks like that's not even going to be happening now. So it's just so hard to predict. It's so hard to plan ahead. And I don't know, maybe that has benefited some people who prefer to play a more reactive kind of game of FPL, and those who maybe try and plan out the rest of the season have kind of found themselves struggling to make those plans and holding off on chips and strategies and transfers for things that never end up coming around.
God, what a captivating point to kickstart the episode. That's just blown me away, hasn't it? What a great angle. Ain't that right, Reidy?
Yeah, he was certainly ready for that one, wasn't he? I think as well. I think interesting, as you say, Dan, people saving chips and stuff. I know, Chaza, you've got AM left, and it's, you know.
Well, I'm a morning person, so having the AM makes sense.
There we go, perfect. But will it be perfect? You know, in terms of when you use that chip, mate. That's the question, because there might not be any doubles to use it in, which of course managers who used it in game week 24, 25, and so on have benefited, and quite recently as well, with Eddie Howe having his double in 32 and so on. So it's having time to use all these chips that we've now ended up having, and extra transfers that I think I've only ever got to 4 as a max this season, which says a lot about it becoming a bit more difficult, a bit more trickier to navigate. But I do think back end of the season, certainly one thing that will be happening is managers taking hits. That's just going to happen. It's inevitable. So whether you got chips or not, You know, a couple of hits here and there is definitely the on the menu.
Do you see any more upcoming doubles for the rest of the season, Dan, or do you reckon this is it?
I think we're done. Yeah, unfortunately, I think we're done. Like, as every day that goes past, the double game weeks look less and less likely. It's any double game week that were to happen in game week 36 would be less than 2 calendar weeks from now. So you would have thought that if there was going to be an announcement, it would have happened by now. And if it was going to happen, there really is no reason why it wouldn't have happened over the last few days. So look, this season's been full of surprises, so you never know. But right now, it's not looking particularly good.
As per usual, we're going to check in with our community, and Gary's probably spot on. One of us took 5 minutes to do their hair. Probably was Reidy's wig, or actually my hair comb, as always. Good afternoon to you. A fairly awful game week 34. Well, we've got one side who just got on standby, which we'll show you shortly. Having a pretty good week. He was a 96th registered side, just for a hint, for the coming season. Right, Reidy, are you going to the parade on Bank Holiday Monday? Also, how many bank holidays does this country need in May? It's out of this world.
Well, I don't know if Gary's having his own individual parade. Sorry, he's saying my parade. So does he mean his own that he's having, or does he mean the one that Liverpool are going to be having? I mean, I am going to be in Liverpool for the parade. Near the Liver building, probably getting I was going to say smash then, but I'm going to be on my best behaviour. I want to remember the occasion, have a couple of beers, enjoy it. So I'll be at that one. If you're there, Gary, more than welcome, mate. Let's enjoy it together.
Yeah. FPL Discomfort as well. Thank you very much for tuning in. No hits here. Roll this week. Wow, now this is some sort of chaos end of season. A free hit 36, wildcard 37, bench boosting 38. You could not think of any worse when it comes to bench boosting in the final game week. Dan, how many players do you see surprisingly omitted in the final week of the season in previous?
There's always a few, isn't there? But I guess that's why, you know, the wild card 37 is so important if you're going to do a bench boost in 38, because you can kind of start to make predictions on which teams might rotate and which teams will be at full strength, who has stuff to play for and who doesn't. I think, thankfully, this season, there is going to be a lot of players to pick from for those teams competing for those Champions League places. So third down to sort of, to be fair, even like 11th, 12th, there's still Conference League places up for grabs this season, which could even be converted to Europa League places if Chelsea do indeed win the Conference League. So there is still some to play for, just not Liverpool and Arsenal, and obviously nothing at the bottom. But that could, of course, play into your hands if you're picking from those Champions League hopeful teams.
Yeah, no, that's a good shout there. Dan, your time to shine. You're on 71 points, all out, no players tonight, which I don't know what your alternative is. If like, do you have interest watching Forest and Brentford in general? Who knows, but help yourself.
I don't think I'm going to put myself through the pain, to be honest. I'll probably watch the extended highlights after the pain is done. But yeah, game week 34 was 71 points is a green arrow, a very small one, but it was a disaster game week for me, really. I had basically 2 different drafts. One was my safe draft and one was my risky draft. I thought at my kind of rank, let's just play the risky draft. There's not much I can lose. My safe draft scored 30 points more than this risky draft. So I had a 100-point draft in my hands and ended up taking a couple of punts, going for double Newcastle midfield instead of like a Trippier and Burn, who, by the way, are in my non-free hit team. So the reason they, the minute they come out of my team, they go absolutely crazy. Captain Barnes, just to try and do something a little bit different this week. He was in good form. Ipswich was a good fixture. I thought there was a chance he could do a little bit better than Salah. And then up front, I went for Strand Larsen ahead of Cunha. Again, just to try something a little bit different. Strand Larsen's data looked pretty good. He's playing well. Cunha, there were some murmurings about him not starting. But Cunha started, and it was bad news as soon as Cunha started. But, you know, I took a risk on that one. Kind of got to hold my hands up and own it. I thought the swing was a little brutal, but look, if you're playing a risky game of FPL, you gotta be prepared to take a couple of L's, and I think I did take an L, certainly compared to what could have been.
That's fair. Reidy, not much on your end.
Say again, on Dan's team, I mean, you're going to see when you pull mine up that we're very similar in our selections as such. A couple of safe picks from my side. I'm like, oh, that's the thing. We both went Alisson, Dan. I don't know. I always discounted or ruled out Sanchez. I just thought there's always that chance Everton score against Chelsea. And in all fairness, if it wasn't for Sanchez, they would have. So yeah, Cucurella, I did fancy that one. I was like, I wanted a piece of like as many games as I could get. How I was looking at it, I was like, oh, okay, I want maybe one Chelsea player. Cucurella seems like that player. Cole Palmer's not been great lately, so I thought, why go for him? And the Trippier thing, and Burn you saying your normal team, that's absolute pain, because I was like, surely this is going to be a goal fest for Newcastle.
Yep.
But something in me wanted Trippier. It took me back to, do you remember the Sheffield United game where it was like 8-0 Newcastle maybe? Trippier got like a load of assists and like came out with a crazy haul. And I was like, should I go for him? And I didn't. And then I went like boring, safe Kirkes, which then ended up with, pie on my face anyway, because United scored a late equaliser. So that was painful. It was painful. I do feel your pain, as I say. Not much between us in terms of points, but I do have one player left that could pull me out.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Right. We better not kill the groove when it comes to momentum and what Reidy's speaking about. So this is how we're looking. In Cucurella's, help yourself on a free hit. Similar.
I did bench Cucurella. So if you look at my bench, I actually had 19 points.
Oh my God. 18 points, man.
18, 19 points. Yeah, not great. Yeah, but I mean, the defense, you go for Session, you go for Aitonori, loads of people went for them anyway. Obviously, the two straight down the middle in Alisson and Kirkes didn't deliver. Barnes went from Eden Hazard to Eden Shattard, whatever you want to call him. Just didn't return. Obviously, Murphy's just been doing bits for a while. Captain on Salah was nice, but obviously, if you had some big cojones, you would have maybe risked it on Cunha. But yeah, I did see some of that stuff to do with him possibly being benched, Dan, mainly from actually, I think it was more so Wolves fans.
It was just the fans. Yeah, it really was just the fans.
We don't want him to play. He's leaving and stuff. But yeah, great return from him. But as I say, not much to shout home about. 71 points. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. And Bumo tonight, as I say, hopefully to pull me out the fire. If he, what's going to be more painful is I had Bumo last week on the double game week, and I took him out for Rashford, and obviously got 18 points for Brighton. So I need something from this, otherwise it's going to be two painful game weeks, involving Brian and Bumo. So yeah, 73 as it stands.
Fair. No, you know what? Nice one. It's just a shame Rev hasn't turned up. He got a bloody 90-point game week, so well done to him on that. But the meat and the sandwich, always the guy in the middle through the course of this season, with 4-1s part of his game week rank, and as I mentioned, been on 69 for a few days. So Pope in goal, got what he needed. Aitonori, Trent, Iwobi, not a bad shot, got an assist. And then Salah, Cunha, Isaac. Now, Dan, I can safely say the Solly March War is officially back, but this edition it's with Evan Nilsson. Now his suspension has been overturned. We want our points back. Should it be allowed in such an instance or not quite, you reckon?
It's really difficult because the red card is registered as an in-game match event, and it's the in-game match events that dictate the points, and that's not getting changed. Yes, the red card is being overturned, but within the football game, that red card will forever be part of football history and statistics. And for that reason, he's got to keep that red card within the game week, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. If he doesn't get sent off, he stays on the pitch and the game plays out different potentially. It's the same as when VAR, incorrectly rules a goal out. It's just tough. that's the way it is. So unfortunately, Chaza, you can bang on that door as much as you want, but you will not break it down.
Yeah, that's a great saying for sure. Right, loads of comments. We've got to attend now. Dan, I'm not sure about you. You've got fans who have hidden it today. Victoria's Secret, not Victorian Secret top model. Hey Dan, we've got someone saying hello to you on that one. An Everton-related question. Can anyone tell me why it's a new template pick? Everton has currently conceded in 10 of our last 11 Premier League game weeks. But it's safe to say, either of you can answer, is that Everton have got a kind run in the last 4 weeks, right?
Very.
Yeah.
2 newly promoted teams in the next 3, which is nice. And Everton's defensive numbers are generally pretty good. So, yes, they are conceding like 1 goal per game, but they're not conceding very many big chances. So the theory is, from a stats perspective, is that if a team is showing promise, particularly if they have good fixtures, then the past points don't necessarily indicate the same as the future points.
Yeah, great shout on that one. Just Sata Leno 2 minutes before the deadline. Yikes. Not as bad for Reidy, who took out Mbumo for Marcus Rashford. Whoopsies. Anyways, so, right, Dan, I've got an interesting one for you, because you talk about your content, all the different videos that you make each week, especially the 100 experts. Now, to this stage, what have you liked the most about the content this season that you've made? What changes have you made as a content creator? I mean, what do you love the most still?
I think this year I've been putting far more effort into making things look really good and look really smart and be more engaging. And I've learned a lot of new skills as well, which has been something that I've really enjoyed in particular. Learning how to do things with video editing that I've not really done before, or if I have done before, I haven't ever done it on the FPLMate channel, mostly out of laziness. So putting those extra, that extra half an hour into the video can make such a big difference. And I'm finding it really rewarding to make videos that I think are creatively really fun and exciting and engaging. And I think, probably not going to be making FPL videos for the rest of my life. On YouTube, everyone has a shelf life. So to be able to develop skills, I think is really important to try and future-proof hopefully a very long creative journey.
Yeah. And how much do you love about making the 100 experts video? Because you get a lot that contribute each week.
Yeah, so that's the video that helps me the most, which is great. And couldn't do it without the massive help of the community, including yourself. And it creates a video that is so helpful for getting an idea of where is the current thinking of FPL? Where is the convergence of the opinion? Who is everyone captaining? Is this a week to go differential? Is there a very clear and obvious player you have to buy this week? Or actually, is this a week where you could go a variety of different directions? And that's different, and it changes up every single week. And it's always interesting to see, okay, where are we going this week? So this week's video, for example, very, very clear that Brian Mbumo is a must-buy player. You have to get him in your team. You very rarely see, you get 100 different FPL managers. To get them all to agree on one thing is very, very difficult. So when we see 60-70% all transferring in Brian Mbumo in 1 week, it's very obvious that this is a guy that you cannot compromise on. You cannot go without. On another week, we might see the most transferred in player only has 10 transfers in, and nobody can agree on who the best transfer in. And maybe that is a week where you can kind of go outside the box a little bit. But yeah, that's what I love about that video. It's so handy.
Fair.
Yeah, and I think I know you've been doing that for a long time now, Dan, but is that something whereby, is that a niche thing? Because I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, are there any other content creators who do that? Who do the 100 experts thing?
Yeah, so there wasn't, but FPL Focal started doing one.
Focal,
well.
I see. Oscar had a dabble, did he?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Not many. I mean, even still, in the grand scheme of things, I think it's something that you can own and be proud of in that sense.
Yeah.
And as you say, you still enjoy it because it gives you, such different, different views on how how people are playing the game and approaching it, I guess, each game week.
Definitely, and it's a video that it's difficult. It's not a video that anyone could just pick up and do, because you so heavily rely on the community for it. The community makes that video, really. And I'm in a very fortunate position where I can kind of have the audience to say, come get involved, which a couple of years ago I might not have been able to do, maybe before I started the series.
Love that.
Yeah, love it. Oh, that was well explained. And don't get me wrong, and thank you for allowing me to be part of the contribution each week, and hopefully it helps. It's always something I look forward to. Some weeks I miss, and then I see you sometimes you do another call out because you sometimes fall short on 100, don't you?
Yeah, it's always like those weeks where there's one more game to play, or people are waiting for double game week information and they're not sure on their moves, so they kind of hold off on kind of trying to make a prediction on what their moves might be. I mean, if we're totally honest, I think most of us these days, we're not making transfers until Thursday, Friday a lot of the time. So to know for sure what you're going to do by Tuesday is often quite difficult. So no, I really appreciate people just at least giving it a go and trying out what they might be doing.
Yeah, no, well said. Right, very quick check like we usually do, Reidy, to the public league, because the Stones have fallen off and are rolling down the league. Tom Stone's now down to second. Steve Ward has now eclipsed it with 91 points so far. Fair play to him there. Right, Reidy, back to your direction before we go back to even more comments. Yes, Dan is that famous. We're kind of not most of the time. Reidy, how was Sunday? I mean, securing the league. You said you were at work, so you missed out. But as a supporter, what did that mean to you?
It was nice. I mean, obviously, it's not often you get the opportunity when you go for the title, to wrap it up this early. Yes, for the neutrals, and even for people who do support the team that are winning the league, it's not exciting. Don't get me wrong, because you're not going down to the wire. Like we've got a situation in the Championship this weekend where Leeds and Burnley can both potentially win. So yeah, but at the same time, it's just nice because of what happened with the COVID season. The fans are there. It's against Spurs, which everyone loves. Rubbing it in Spurs faces. So just really happy. Some celebration. I don't know if you boys seen some of the after things after full-time whistle. Anfield was absolutely mental until 10 p.m. or something. My three friends actually have got season tickets, so they were all there, and I spoke to him yesterday. I was playing football with him, and he just said it was bonkers, absolutely bonkers. But what can you do now? That's the league done. I guess it's like we've got no other trophies to play for. It's just kind of like I'm not like going now. It's done. I'm not like waking up every day. Yeah, we've won the league. I'm kind of just like settled now, and I'm content is probably the right word. I'm quite content now, and I'm just like, yes, we've got it done. And I think, if anything, I feel lucky that we've won it so soon after that COVID season, that I've been able to, I know it sounds a little bit like not cheesy or whatever, but I'm hoping I live until at least I'm 80. So you would have thought we'd have won another league title, but as I say, because we've won it so soon, after that COVID season, it's just much sweeter. So yeah, enjoying it, mate. Enjoying it.
Beautiful. Yeah, well, it's just another nail in the coffin for Postecoglou's pursuit in terms of leading that Tottenham side, or else he's getting wheeled out the door like the Teddy Swimson, your favourite artist this season. Let's face it, it's quite evident, Reidy. Right, very quick check Women's League. Then we've got Victoria's Secrets, not models again, but a plethora of questions on the right-hand side we need to stand by. Now, quick check on their Women's League. Mira's still leading by 27 points, 85 points this game week so far, but can she hold on to it? Only a few weeks to go. Okay, right. Now, based on your 100 Experts video, Dan, this is where I love it when other halves get involved. It's the only one my wife watches, so you're creating influence.
Hey, that's the video with a sex appeal. What can I say?
I love it.
Who can resist 100 experts at their doorstep? Not me.
Cortex, good morning or good afternoon, wherever you may be tuning in. Discomfort's got an interesting question here. With Leicester injuries, including their keeper, any Southampton players take your fancy this week? I say no. What about you guys?
No.
Yeah.
I can't make a strong argument for any Southampton players. I mean, who would you even pick? Onuachu maybe, but he's injured, right? You're not going to pick a defender from Southampton, even against Leicester. I'm struggling to pick one out, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Dan. I mean, I think, how can you make a case for Southampton? I mean, that's all I want to say. And there's no point me even trying to make excuses as to why.
Yeah.
Like, really, it's probably not Kieran. Probably not me. But knowing Kieran, what he's like, he does like, a bit of a rogue pick or a different strategy. As we could see with his free hit 36, wildcard 37, bench boost 38. So good luck if you do go with a Southampton player, Kieran.
I mean, I like a different strategy as well. I like going a little bit differently, but like there's certain things where you would be just forcing it. And any kind of, conversation we could have around Southampton players, we would be forcing it right now.
Yes, I agree.
Dan, what is your chip for the last few weeks of the season? It was one of the best videos you made in recent times, and you explained how much you loved going into detail when you're talking about all the different permutations when it came to all the different strategies. What chips do you have remaining?
I don't have any, no.
Oh, right.
I used them all. Because to be fair, like always did say with the permutations and all the videos on planning out the season, that this double game week was like a 50-50 at best, whether it was going to happen or not, because basically the FA Cup fixtures FA Cup final fixture clashes need to be moved from the weekend of game week 37 to either the midweek of 37 or the midweek of 36. The only reason it would move into game week 37 would be if Aston Villa made it through, because Aston Villa play Spurs in game week 37 and Spurs play the Europa League final if they make it on that same midweek spot. So that would force the fixtures into game week 36. So now with Aston Villa not through, there's really no reason for a double game week in 36 anymore. The fixtures should just move it, stay within 37 now.
Reidy, I know you've got something on the screen. Just one last thing before we crack onto your direction. So what we've learned so far is that, well, let's face it, we're both wearing shirts. We don't need to hide it. We're down 1-0 after first leg against PSG. Tottenham had to play later. And Man United as well completely forgot they somehow winged it late on. Do you see us getting through, Dan? I don't know. What is it?
It's not a good start, is it?
And
PSG do just look so brilliant. But never say never, right? Aston Villa gave PSG a good go in the second leg. Liverpool did the same thing. So it's not a time to be confident, definitely not. But I don't think it is a time to give up necessarily.
Yeah. Okay. Spurs and United, boys. What's your take? First leg. Do Spurs gain an edge from their home leg?
I hope so, don't you? They're kind of putting everything into this competition now. So, it would be a bit of a disaster if they didn't at this point. Yeah, I don't know. They should win, right? They're the favourites here.
Yeah, they should win. But everyone's got that sort of thing of bit of a fairy tale, like Bodø Glimt are you'd probably say worst team left in the competition, right? Albeit Spurs and Man United's Premier League season has not been great whatsoever. But yeah, I think it's almost like we expect Spurs to win, but we also expect them to mess it up for themselves as well.
Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it?
So, we'll see how this plays out, but I'm definitely intrigued and definitely will be watching the game tonight. Man United, they always somehow seem to fluke it, don't they? Even when they are bad. So yeah, we will see. We will see how it plays out.
For sure. Right. Couple of questions. With his teammates trying to set up Salah to score against Tottenham. Reidy, to you on this. Do we still believe Salah is a good captaincy choice for the last few weeks, despite it probably not being the most amazing fixture run?
I think so. I think if you want to keep him, he's arguably going to be one of the best captain choices you've got in your team. On paper, we've not got great fixtures. We play Arsenal, play yourselves. We've got Chelsea next. Palace, you probably imagine, isn't a tough fixture anymore, just because they may have one eye on the cup final. And then I think is the other fixture Brighton, who have looked really leaky recently. So all in all, not bad fixtures, to be honest. So I do think Salah is a consideration. Now, Salah may not be a consideration any longer if you want to transfer him out, which is understandable because a certain Mr. Erling Haaland may be back in the near future. So if that tickles your fancy, instead of Kevin De Bruyne or Foden, or we've seen what Pep Roulette's been like this season, then you could maybe take out Salah and bring in Haaland and captain him. So, yeah, I think it just depends on your strategy, team dependent, I guess. But for me, at the moment, I am keeping Salah and I will be captaining him in at least a couple of game weeks out of the last 4, I'd say.
Ooh. Okay, Drunken Paul is officially back, as we saw 5 seasons ago. Here we go. Right, to you, Dan. From Cortex, would you do Evan Nielsen to Marmoush and Marlon to Mbumo for a -4, the standout property right now, it being the Cameroonian international, or just Evan Nielsen to Marmoush for a free transfer?
No, I think I do. I think I take the hit on that one. Yeah, that looks good. That really improves your team, and it takes away the headache of Marlon as well, who is just such a headache player every week. You could have the best fixture in the world for Marlon, but you still don't know whether to start him or not because you don't know if he's going to play. So, kind of, what is the point in having an FPL asset like that in your team if you have the option to replace him, even for a hit? It's such a big improvement. I think it's worthwhile.
There you go. Smash and grab style Cortex. Got to go down that direction. Time for transfer traffic. Right. Usually, Dan, what we tend to do is ask people, are there any particular surprises in the top 5 piles of both in and out? Reidy, any surprises or any particular standouts or names screaming at you for this edition?
I think this is an interesting week, considering we've had a double game week and a free hit, or blank, I should say, blank game week, because it really probably is a little bit of a, I don't know, it's like a car boot sale. People are going for this player, that player.
Yeah.
Someone's done well on Wolves fixtures aren't that great.
Yeah.
Wissa, consistent, so you can understand that. I think Dan has obviously said everyone should be going for Mbumo, so no surprise that he's topped the list. And that's all I'll probably have to say about that for now.
About you, Dan?
I mean, I don't think there's any surprises in here. If a player scores a bunch of points, then people will buy them. But Cunha against Man City is not someone I'd be looking to pick up this week, even though he is so popular. I was kind of looking at the kind of the projections and the market odds for this weekend, and Wolves have the worst projected goals. You can get the best odds of a Man City clean sheet for any fixture this weekend. So that does kind of imply that Cunha is predicted to not do very much in this game. But on the other hand, we have Gvardiol here. So some people saying, yeah, Cunha's going to score. We're going to get some Wolves attacking points. And other people clearly saying, yeah, Gvardiol's going to get a clean sheet. So I think the biggest surprise is that the second and third most popular transfers in are an attacker versus a defender playing each other. Only one person is going to come out on top of this one.
Yeah. No. Good call. Probably on my end, no surprises, but let's just briefly mention this guy because his fall from grace has just been astonishing. Cole Palmer. Where has he been? Where's Wally edition style? It's nuts, isn't it, Dan?
It's crazy. But, I think the issue is Palmer had, a good season. that was the only reference point we had for him. And there's been many, many football players who have had a great season, a great individual season, that haven't necessarily been able to recapture that in following seasons. So that's not me saying Cole Palmer is a one-season wonder. He's still clearly very young. So, and there's clearly a player there as well. But I think, we saw the best of Palmer last season. We probably assumed he was one of the best players on planet Earth. We see him this season, and it looks like the opposite end of the spectrum, and we're wondering how he's even keeping his place in this Chelsea team. The reality is he's probably somewhere in the middle there at this current moment.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah, he's gone from world beater to a absolute flop, I guess, in the matter of 9 months or whatever you want to call it. Scoring obviously in the final for England. I think I will say, I do think the manager's got something to kind of. He's had an effect. I feel like, was it Pochettino last season for Chelsea?
Yeah.
I think it was Poch. Anyway, I feel like basically I don't think Maresca has used him as effectively as Pochettino did last year. I think that's definitely had an effect on him. I think as well there's been a few injuries for Chelsea, not very consistent. Sancho's come in and he looks good 1 minute, but probably terrible most of the time. Yeah, so it's not been great for Palmer overall. And from an FPL point of view, boys, he's gone from 5-point-odd million. You'll snap someone's arm off for that. He's gone up to 10 million plus this season. And when a player's not returning, that's just money sat there that he could be buying someone else with. So, yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, he's going to continue to go. One I will say is Saka is probably the stuck between a rock and a hard place for people. I've got Saka. Obviously, as you boys mentioned, you're 1-0 down to PSG going into the second leg. Huge game. Still, obviously, a chance for you guys to go through to the final. But people don't kind of expect him to either play or at least kind of play and come off, start on the bench as you will. What do you boys think on it? What's your take on Saka? What should Arteta kind of do with that on that situation?
Go on, Chaza.
All right, sure. I will then. I reckon he gets reduced minutes against Bournemouth. I mean, we've got nothing to really play for in the league now. Simple, save him for away at PSG.
Yeah, particularly as he played 90 minutes against PSG as well. It's kind of does imply that minutes will be reduced. I mean, I absolutely love Saka. I desperately want to keep him in my FPL team, but I've been trying to find a reason and an excuse to keep him. But I can't do it. As much as I'd love to keep him, I think he's just got to go.
Yeah, and I think people are in that predicament in terms of anyone who went with Saka on wildcard, which I think at the beginning did pay off a little bit. But
depends what week you wildcarded.
Well, it does. It certainly does. I think a lot of the people who were on the wildcard 32 was quite popular or whatever it was, between 30 and 32. And I think when Saka come back, people managed to get some points from him. But I only brought him in. I think it was 30, 32, 33. Can't remember which one. Probably was 33 for the double. And now I'm looking at taking him out already. It's insane.
Yeah. Right. We're about to ask for a fixture, but this has been bombarding the comments. And if you want to do your quote tweets now, Dan, by all means, go for it. But breaking news, Erling Haaland has touched grass. He's made the football pitch. So I don't think he's going to start against Wolves tomorrow. Pep's just done his press up. But the Southampton fixture looks promising. So that's all we know of as of now. Now back to the actual fixtures. It could have been starting tomorrow night. Right. You can go first, Reidy, man. Off to Dan. Pick one fixture. It can be a standout from an FPL perspective or just football in general.
Yeah. Well, firstly, what an absolute cop-out Saturday's fixtures are, right? 2-3 o'clock kickoffs. What is going on, eh? But, Friday deadline mixes it up a bit, I guess. For me, the standout fixture, I would say, there's a few juicy ones. I'll go with I'm going to go with the Villa Fulham one. I'm going to go for the Gandhi, the 12:30 kickoff. I think obviously Villa, I've got a lot to play for still, Champions League, as have some of the teams. Fulham are just like so random. They can look so good one minute, but then just pants the next. So, I mean, I think it still will be a good enough fixture. I think Villa will be right up for that one. So that's my pick for this week.
Over to you, Dan.
I like the look of West Ham versus Spurs, actually. Spurs are just so bad at the moment, and they are so focused on the Europa League, and this West Ham game will be nestled between the two Europa League fixtures as well. So I wonder if this could be a quite a nice little result for West Ham United there.
Great options. Now, I just want to say before I get to my standout game, technically, Reidy, there's only one 3 o'clock game because the other one, let's face it, it's a championship game. Leicester Southampton, they're both relegated.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. West Ham, I'm not on your kind of fixture pick there, Dan. West Ham are bad, aren't they? Like, considering they have some really good players, they're so bad. Like, I was saying this to someone the other day. I was like, how are they so bad? I mean, that Fulkrug interview was absolute gold, like just slamming his own players, his own team and stuff. But Potter's come in and then we're expecting really good things. And if it wasn't for Jared Bowen, who I think should move, by the way, to a better club, decent club, they're just awful. I know we talk about Spurs being really bad and stuff, but I feel like that's a given. But like West Ham, I mean, David Moyes has left and they've fell to bits, haven't they?
Yeah, but like, I totally agree. West Ham are, a pretty crap team, let's be honest. But I think Spurs are worse. And, London derby, I would just love to see West Ham just truly put Spurs in the ground this season. That's what I want to see. Maybe it's wishful more than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. What is your fixture actually, Chaza? You didn't pick one yet, did you?
Well, the secret's come out of a bag and spot on. Brentford Man United, I think it's just that one. That's a huge game for probably the chance in Curse. And this week's edition, Reidy Boomer. So, yeah, I just reckon it's fair for the taking. Visser, I reckon, is going to have a cracker. He's been fantastic form recently. So, Sunday, 2 o'clock, set the G-Tech is usually a danger place for away sides. Now, before we get to our teams ready, I didn't miss anything blatant, did I, in terms of discussion points? I'm a forgetful guy. I'm not saying Dementia's kicked in at the age of 24, but just so I double check.
No, listen, mate. Not that I'm aware of, and don't you worry. If we have missed it, it couldn't have been that important, really, could it? So, yeah,
nice
let's crack on.
Cool. Beautiful. All right, it's time to present our sides. Dan, I completely forgot to brief you on this. If you are able to share screen, great. But if you need time to sort it out, that's fine, which is why I probably might dish it over to Reidy first up. I can get mine up.
Spotlight, I see Chaza like that. Is it? Yeah, should be able to get my team ready there and team up for this game week, mate. There we go.
Yeah.
Let me know if you can get it on the screen.
Yeah, no worries. Let me know when yours goes in the backstage too, Dan. Or if you need assistance, that's fine. Or you can read it out through speaker when the time comes, if that's easier. So, right, Reidy.
I'll get it out.
Cool. Over to you.
Okay, this is where we're at for Gameweek 35. Then double Everton defence to start the Gameweek 35 pain, no doubt, when Ipswich score in the first minute. But yeah, hopefully that brings me a double clean sheet this week and a few bonus. Guardiola, Timber. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of. I might even bench Timber this week. I might even bench him and play Munoz. Obviously, Palace v Forest is the last fixture of the game week, so I'd have him and Mateta playing. So I'm going to monitor the situation on that, see what Arteta says in regards to minutes and things for Timber and Saka. Captains on Salah, as we talked about before, about captaincy and so on. And Newcastle boys, City forward, Marmoush. I think he still should be okay, even though Haaland is on the verge of kind of coming back. And in terms of transfers, I don't want to do it yet, but it is more than likely going to be Brian and Mbumo, I should say. I don't like the quick turnaround for Brentford. Obviously, like, I know they don't play till Sunday, but even still, you know, they only get a couple of days after today. So that's not going to be ideal if I bring him in all of a sudden and Mbumo's like on the bench or something, which I can't imagine will happen, but you never know. So yeah, that's going to be my move this week. It's going to be Rashford, and I've got enough in the bank. I've got 9.8 in the bank, and I'll just bring in Mbumo there. So that's it. 1-3 is all I've got. Maybe take a hit. Maybe I might take Saka
Please
out.
do.
I might take Saka out and maybe bring in De Bruyne. But I'm not sure, lads. I'm not sure. So that's me for this week as it stands. Over to you.
Yeah. When I mean the you.
You or Dan, whoever.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I was just trying to remove some screens for a moment. Dan, I'll let you go up next.
Right. I'm ready. Do I need to do something to get my stream? Oh, there we go.
No.
It did it. Yay. This is my team. Pretty similar to you, Reidy, to be honest, in the defensive kind of area. With Gavardio and a bit of Arsenal coverage there as well. Also have the Rashford issue as well, which I'll be looking to resolve this week with some transfers. Could just play Savinho, to be honest, but I'm so worried about his minutes. I never know when he's going to start or not. So I'm going to see what happens in the Wolves game. And then if he does play or doesn't play, we can kind of assess whether he's any good for Southampton away the following week. I think I'll just play it safe with him this week. Looking to make a couple of transfers this week. I've got 2 frees. So it'll be Rashford out and Saka out. And most likely, Mbumo will have to come in. Like I said, non-negotiable. And I'll have 9.6 for the other one. Can't get De Bruyne because of Savinho. So for that reason, it'll be Jared Bowen. This is... Yes. This will be.
Is he doing live transfers? This is amazing.
Yeah, I'm not actually going to make him.
I don't know if he is.
I'm going to make him. So the team will look like this, but with Mbumo and Bowen instead of Saka and Rashford, and the captain will probably be on Bowen because I can't lie, it's crazy season for me at this point. I'm just going to go crazy with it. I've got nothing to lose at this point, so let's just have some fun.
Oh, superb. Nice one. Excellent. So good. So good. Beautiful. Nice. Just trying to get the screen. Savinho is like my Marlon. Just gives such a headache. Yeah.
100%. Yep.
Pep's kind of a bit weird, hasn't he? Like, his best players are probably like, or have been his best players are like Savinho, player of the season, Foden last year. He must see something in training that's just like, yeah, I don't like that. I'm not gonna start these guys because like what we see when we see them on the TV. I mean, maybe not so much Foden's not look great, but it's like, why aren't they playing? Like, why are you playing Doku or why are you know what I mean? It's weird. But yeah, been a bit unlucky on that Savinho pick, Dan, and unfortunately, yeah, he does block your De Bruyne move. Or what if you took Savinho out and then maybe would you be able to afford De Bruyne?
How much is De Bruyne now? 9 point.
It's still about 9 points something. Yeah, it's a bit.
Let me check.
It's a bit horrible, isn't it?
All right, let's check this. So I'm curious now.
But you're carrying Rashford, obviously, which seems like he's a no-brainer.
Yeah, couldn't do it unless I did Salah out.
No.
Or did Bowen instead of Mbumo. That would be possible if I did that. But
yeah, but I think I like those moves. I think Bowen and Mbumo, solid moves. Yeah, for this week, definitely.
Okay.
Awesome.
Nice.
Cheeky surgery. Team surgery is what we're all about on this page. We're just addicted to it. It's all in the name. Playing mediocre is our game, which is pretty much what I've done all season. In terms of total points, only 2 point difference between Dan. I'm sitting at chew for anyone that still loves Richie Beno, even though he passed a few years back. So this is our side. In summary, no one needs a bus outside of the Egyptian who's going to Stamford Bridge. Everyone else is at home. I think it's just one transfer. Need to try and fit Mbumo in, but it's just more, who do I take out and is it worth it after all? Captain Ollie Watkins, because some same Dan, stuff it. Let's just have some fun. But yeah, any ideas? do we possibly go Eze to Mbeumo, or is it worth just holding on to him at home to Forest?
It's not a bad fixture. Forest at home these days. They're not the same team they were perhaps the first half of the season, and Eze's been in some good form, so certainly not a must sell. Could you afford to go Eze straight to Mbeumo?
Well,
do you have the money in the bank?
That's what I love, Dan. One of my favourite things to do each week. 2.8. Yeah, we do.
Oh, you could do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if there is guaranteed no double game week in game week 36 for Crystal Palace, I mean, you could. It would be a little luxury, but that would be the way to do it, right?
Yeah.
Can you do... Wait, is that Merino?
Yeah, hang on. I think I can do this one.
Can you do Merino?
Oh, yeah, I can.
There you go.
Bang.
There you go.
You know
Done.
That's what we're going to do. See you later. Confirm it.
You've done it just now.
Just done it, yeah.
Sent it.
You done it before Mbeumo plays tonight. You've done it.
Oh, no.
Imagine he gets a red card now.
Red card injury. That would be generational. You need to wait a few hours. There's not even going to be any price changes between now and then.
You're always too keen on it, you mate. Brilliant.
I love that, man.
Well, it's done now, mate. I think you being on 69 for too many days has got you a bit too horny for transfers, mate. And we've gone early, but we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We've got one more segment to go. How have we done? Yeah, 51 minutes, like an F45 class, going for the cheeky hour of power. Right. Couple of points. I'll see if I can sort something out here, which is what we have done here. Right, I'm going to start with Ollie Watkins. No bias involved. At home to Fulham, he's produced 22 fantasy attacking returns. And yes, Victoria's Secret, this is the usual segment. Sometimes we're on, or sometimes we're just gone by this time. He has averaged an attacking return every 102.6 minutes this season, which, in fairness, that's better than Man City's Erling Haaland, who touched grass about an hour ago, according to Pep, who's already lost his marbles for the last 6 seasons. In addition, Watkins has scored in each of his last 3 meetings against the Cottagers. Maybe watch his space, or is it a semicolon? Brian Mbeumo at home to Man United. The man in demand for Spice, who probably not so very nice these days, the Cameroonian. He is the second player to break the 200-point barrier this season. How about that? And this is complemented by his 18-point haul in game week 33 against the Seagulls. As mentioned, most transferred in. Now, Mo Salah doesn't have the most luxurious record against Chelsea in general. He did get a double-digit, both goal and an assist earlier in the season. However, he has not returned on the road since game week 26 against Manchester City. But within that spell, and prior to that dry spell he's got at the moment, he managed 4 consecutive double-digit hauls on his games on the road. Okay. Joe Bowen, last one, short and sharp. He scored in back-to-back games. Spurs, let's face it, they're leggy. He's run out of options. He had to go for T-Ladies in January and Postecoglou. May as well back this guy in. I'll tell you how good he is. He's got that superpower, and that is being different, owned by just less than 10%. Right, that's it for Captain's Corner. Hope you're not stuck on 69 for a few days like I did. Right, there you go. Ripper stuff. Yeah. Reidy, you feeling good about the last few weeks or yeah, nah?
He's muted.
Yeah, he's just talking bollocks.
I am muted indeed. Yeah, I was being considerate for your Captain's Corner and I've shot myself in the foot there. Yeah, feeling good. Probably. I don't know whether that's the right phrase to use, but I've got 1 chip left, bench boost, and I haven't got a clue when to use it. I'll be honest. It involves transfers. I think I am possibly looking at next week. I think, but hits are coming. It's inevitable. So I'm on 139k at the minute. If I can get inside top 100, maybe 50k, I'll take that.
That's fair. Dan, are you looking forward to the last few weeks, or it's more of a when's this season ending type of feel?
I'm just riding the wave at this point. I've booked my holiday for the end of the season. I've started making content plans for the summer. I'm clocked out already. I'm you know when you hand your notice in to a place of work, and you're just riding out the last few weeks before you can finally just do something you actually want to do.
You're not whatsoever about whether something goes wrong or right. Yeah, you checked out, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm mentally checked out, to be honest. Now that's not quite true. I'm still obviously trying to do my best to produce content and stuff like that. But in terms of my FPL season, my focus is more on trying to help other people out rather than doing anything particularly magical myself.
I like it.
Try to have some fun with it. Pick some differential captains, pick some differential players, see what happens. If it goes to crap, then yes, it's not like it get much worse anyway.
Yeah. 2 questions for you, Dan. 1, any videos that you've still got to sort out for this afternoon?
Yes, team selection video.
Team selection.
It is in progress. I need to finish that off this afternoon.
I like it. That's fine. That's why I did my best to contain everything in an hour. I mean, if Rev was involved, it turned into an hour and 45 due to his nice analysis. That's how it is. And number 2, holiday spot for the off-season. Now, if you haven't chosen Australia, what are you doing?
It's too far, man. I hate plane journeys. I find them so tedious. So the thought of like a 24-hour plane is painful, man. I can't do it. I can't do it. So that's the only thing putting me off.
I don't blame you. There's only 3 places I want to go now, and that is Brazil, Thailand, and somewhere in the Caribbean, right? If I do those, I'll be a happy man, other than obviously trips to Europe and stuff. Australia, unfortunately, Chaza, it just doesn't appeal to me. I'm sorry, mate. Sorry.
Yeah. So where are you going?
Well.
Off-season,
I'm going to Cyprus this year. I used to go all the time when I was a kid and haven't been back in like 20 years. So it's like going to try and go back to some spots where I went for when I was a kid. Go down memory lane. Obviously, lovely weather out there as well. Mediterranean island. So that's the plan this year.
I like it. Beautiful.
Have you been Cyprus, Chaza?
No, probably wouldn't mind to. I don't think travel's sort of on my plans as of yet. Maybe in a few months' time, we'll see how we go with that. Going here is hard enough at the moment.
Yeah, that's true. Beautiful little place. Try and get there if you can. Also, Greece. I mean, you can't go wrong. Places like that. Similar in terms of food and people, and yeah, just a great spot.
Yeah, that's all right. Now, Dan, thanks to you for the viewership you've brought along. We've got a couple of new subscribers. So Victoria's Secret, thank you very much. Cape Town's a fair shout. Cortex has already been put off by the thought of going down under because he doesn't want to be eaten alive by a fighting kangaroo or a crocodile. My God. Reidy, fair shout. Careful them lady voice. So.
Got to watch out for those, definitely.
Yeah, beautiful. Right. Dan, before I forget, just want to say, I know you're very busy. Thank you so much for devoting an hour for coming on the pod. I hope you had fun for 3rd season in a row.
I did have fun, and I'll be back again in Gameweek 35 next season, no doubt. Lock it in now.
35, 36, 37, 38, and then we'll just never be able to get back. There's no more games.
Yeah. Or do we go back to Gameweek 1 and then reset the cycle?
Yeah, I will maybe.
Yeah. Let's try and do 38 different game weeks in 38 years. If you're planning on doing the podcast for that long anyway.
Oh, yeah. I think even trying to plan 38 guests to 38 different game weeks would be just hard enough. My God, just trying to follow people up, track them down.
Yeah.
Track them down? What do you mean? You've been like turning up at the workplace, Chaza? What have you been doing? Jesus, mate. Dedication, love it.
Yeah. That's right. All right. All good, guys. Beautiful. We'll catch you for Game Week 36. Best of luck, everyone. Fabulous contribution, as always, from Dan. Until then, enjoy tonight, unless Mbumo gets sent off. Then it could well be generational stuff on X. I look forward to it very much. But until then, catch you guys.